we had discussed the basics of all the derivative contracts that we have, that is futures, forwards, swaps, options, right? We've gone through the basics and we are moving ahead, taking into consideration a few examples of calculation of payoffs. We were discussing calculation of payoffs with respect to the call and put option. Please confirm if that is where we left in the in the last session. Payoff of put and call contracts. Is that the last thing that we discussed? Can somebody confirm? So any remembrance, anybody, or nothing?
Yes, ma'am. Like we did contingent claim on options, the
Yeah.
payoff. Yeah, and I think we have to start from the credit derivatives.
Okay, fine. So let's start with the credit derivatives then. Okay. So as discussed in the last session as well, that derivative contracts are something which are primarily deriving their value from an underlying asset, right? They are deriving their value from an underlying asset. They do not have any value of their own. So we talked about futures, forwards, swaps, options. Now, based upon different purpose, we can have different types of derivative contracts. One such category of derivative contracts can be credit derivatives. So what exactly are credit derivatives? As the very name is suggesting, it's a derivative, that is, it actually does not hold any value of its own. Rather, it is going to derive its value from something else, some underlying asset, right? So it is going to, first of all, derive its value from underlying asset. Therefore, we call them derivatives, right? So they are going to derive their value from an underlying asset. Now, in this case, instead of an asset, we have a credit contract. Now, what is this credit that we are talking about? Now, it's like a swap agreement. स्वैप का बेसिक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हमने क्या स्टडी किया था? What is a swap agreement? Anybody? What's a swap agreement?
The borrower takes a loan from the bank at fixed rate and like have another contract with some other party on a floating rate basis,
Right.
so that the risk is hedged and the borrower has to pay fixed interest to the bank and the floating interest rate to the lender.
Right.
He will
Right.
receive floating interest rate. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely correct. So what primarily we are saying here is that there is exchange of things happening, right? We have an exchange of things. One party is giving something to the other party. In exchange, the other party is also giving something. That's a swap agreement. Now, what is a credit derivative? It is basically nothing but a swap agreement based upon credit. Now, it is very similar to an insurance contract. What happens in an insurance contract? What happens? We pay premium to the company, the insurance company, right? We pay the premium, and the insurance company promises that in case of any emergency situation with respect to the thing for which we have got ourselves insured, let's say for example health, so in case of any medical emergency, then insurance company will support us at that time. So we are giving principal premium to the company, and the company is in return promising us some kind of what benefits at the time of emergency, right? Now the credit derivatives or credit swaps are also based upon the similar concept. What is the concept of credit swaps? Here the concept is that, let's say we have purchased some bonds. Okay, we have purchased some bonds of a company. Okay, now as an investor, what is my risk exposure when I've invested into bonds of a company? What is my risk exposure here? Well, my risk exposure would be the default by a company, right? My risk exposure would be, I don't want a company to default, right? As long as a company remains credit worthy, it will continue to pay my principal and interest portion that is due on bonds, and I will be secured enough. But I have a risk exposure. Now, what say if there is a financial institution or a bank, okay, which we call as B. Now, B company, the financial institution, is pretty sure that A company will not default, or the probability of A company defaulting is very less because A company is credit worthy. So, if B company has some confidence on A company, then what B company can do? B company can say, okay, you buy my swaps, CDS, credit default swap. You buy my credit default swap. Now the investor says, okay, what is the benefit that I will get by purchasing your CDS? B company would be like, you purchase my CDS, against which you pay me premium, against which I will give you protection. That is, in case a company defaults, I will not let you suffer. I will guarantee you your losses in case a company defaults. ठीक है, तो हुआ क्या था? Simply speaking, there was a company against which we had purchased a company's bonds. We had the risk exposure that the A company may default. Now, in order to protect ourselves from this risk, what we have done is we've entered into a CDS with B, who is a financial institution or a bank. Now, B is saying that you purchased my CDS against which you will be paying me premium, and I will give you guarantee. I will give you protection against losses in case A company defaults. ठीक है, B company किसी भी कंपनी के अगेंस्ट तो सीडीएस इशू नहीं करेगी. ऑब्वियसली बी अपना ड्यू डिलिजेंस करेगी, रिसर्च एंड एनालिसिस करेगी, बेस्ड अपॉन व्हिच बी कंपनी वुड लाइक टू हैव सम कॉन्फिडेंस ऑन ए कंपनी की प्रीमियम आता रहे, ए कंपनी डिफॉल्ट ना करे. बी कंपनी क्या चाहेगी? बी कंपनी वुड वांट कि प्रीमियम आता रहे और ए कंपनी डिफॉल्ट ना करे. ठीक है, so they would like to issue CDS against companies which have good credit worthiness in the market, जहां पर probability of default is minimum. Okay, but investor needs protection. If there is a risk averse investor, even if it's a good company and everything, still there is a probability, even if there is a 10% probability, but there is a 10% probability, and an investor, an averse investor, wants to protect himself or herself against this 10% probability also. That person can do this with the help of premium by purchasing CDS. These are credit default swaps. One type of credit derivatives. Okay.
Ma'am, doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. So is there some correlation between the coupon rate of the bonds and the premium paid to the insurer?
More than coupon, I think it is going to be based upon the credibility of a company. Like for example, in insurance contracts also, if we talk about people with medical issues, or as your age becomes more, the premium gets bigger and bigger. So at later ages, the premium amount is very high, because the chances of that insurance policy getting utilized are more, right? So when the medical issues are there, or smoking history is there, or something like that, or age is more, premium is high. Likewise for CDS also, the premium would be higher as the credibility is lower. ठीक है, जितना credibility कम होगा कंपनी का, उतना ही प्रीमियम हायर होगा. जितना credibility ज्यादा होगा कंपनी का, वहां पर प्रीमियम कम होगा. ठीक है.
Okay, so ma'am, if the credibility is low, the coupon rate will also be like higher side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. This is one type of derivative contract. Another type of, rather we can say, that is credit derivatives. Okay. Now another interesting thing is there, which is called as asset-backed securities. Now there is a dedicated chapter for this asset-backed securities in fixed income securities. But just to get to the meaning of it, we will be discussing the introductory portion of asset-backed security. Rest in detail we will go when we'll get into fixed income securities. Okay, now what are asset-backed securities? Let's understand. Okay, so what are these? Now these are securities which are backed up by some asset. Now how do they work? I'll give you an example. Considering the structure of how asset-backed securities are designed and the purpose for which they are designed. ठीक है, क्या होते हैं ये? We'll understand it. There are a lot of details to it that we will pick up in fixed income securities. For now, just the concept, what exactly asset-backed securities are. So let's take an example of a bank, right? So let's say we have a bank. Okay, now bank has a portfolio of loans that the bank has given. Okay, so bank has given a lot of loans. Of course, the bank has risk that some people may default, for which the bank would also try to create a portfolio of loans. Okay, different types of loans, and of course it will also have some mortgages against the loans. What are mortgage? What is a mortgage?
Collateral.
Okay, yes, absolutely correct. So mortgages are basically the collateral or some asset against which we have taken the loan, that gives the bank right to sell the asset and recover the money in case the person defaults. Okay, so in order to protect against default, first of all, we have a diversified pool of loans that we have given to various people. And secondly, the loans are mortgaged. Now it can be automobile, it can be mortgaged again, maybe property or anything for that matter. We can have different loan categories based upon the type of mortgage or the purpose for which the bank has provided loan. So loan for the borrower would be a liability. But what about the bank? How is this loan framed from the perspective of the bank? From the bank's perspective, it's an asset, right? So from the bank's perspective, these loans are an asset. Now, what is the prime, uh, you know, center point of banks for business? It's funds only, right? Funds is the center point for a bank for business, right? और तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे वो कोई प्रोडक्ट तो मैन्युफैक्चर कर नहीं रहे, कोई सेल ऑफ सम शूज और एनीथिंग, कोई कंज्यूमर प्रोडक्ट्स है, कुछ तो डील नहीं कर रहे, ना कैपिटल गुड्स है उनके पास. रादर देयर बिजनेस सेंटर्स अराउंड फंड्स. ठीक है, तो बैंक है जिसका बिजनेस सारा फंड्स के अराउंड सेंटर्ड है, एंड उनके पास एसेट्स है इन द नेम ऑफ लोन्स दैट दे हैव गिवन व्हिच दे हैव मॉर्टगेज्ड, राइट? So they are secured loans. Now bank thought of a way to monetize these assets. बैंक ने सोचा ये लोन से धीरे धीरे पेमेंट तो आनी है, बट इससे मेरे को इमीडिएट अगर लिक्विडिटी चाहिए, मुझे मोनेटाइज करना है इन एसेट्स को, तो मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ? तो वहां पर asset backed securities were born. Now in this, what is the bank doing? Bank started issuing asset backed securities, in which what was the objective of the bank? The objective was that I will issue these securities which will go to investors. Okay, now we will promise the investors some rate of return. ठीक है, आप हमारे ABS खरीदो, that is our securities, purchase our securities. Of course, when the investor will purchase the securities from us, the investor is going to give the banks funds, right? एंड जितना बैंक के पास फंड ज्यादा होगा उतना वो आगे लोन कर सकते हैं, उतना वो आगे बिजनेस कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो बैंक ने इशू करे एबीएस टू द इन्वेस्टर्स. इन्वेस्टर्स by purchasing these ABS started giving funds to the bank. And why would investor purchase ABS? For which the bank is going to give interest to them. Okay, तो एक अट्रैक्टिव इंटरेस्ट रेट पे बैंक ने बोला मैं आपको रिटर्न दूंगा, आप मेरे एबीएस खरीदो. एंड बैंक फॉर बैंक डज नॉट डिफॉल्ट. बैंक ने बोला कि ये जो आपको सारी पेमेंट आएगी, दिस इज बैक्ड अप बाय आवर एसेट्स, ठीक है, व्हिच आर दीज लोन्स. तो ये लोन को, लोन से जो भी पेमेंट आएगी, इंटरेस्ट की, प्रिंसिपल की, जो भी पेमेंट आएगी, बैंक विल यूज इट टू पे द इन्वेस्टर्स ऑफ एबीएस. तो एक तरीके से ये जो सिक्योरिटीज इशू हुई है, दीज आर बैक्ड अप बाय द लोन्स व्हिच एक्ट एज एन एसेट ऑफ द बैंक. ठीक है, अभी इसके ऊपर भी डबल शील्ड क्या है इन्वेस्टर के लिए, कि जो लोन्स है वो भी आगे सिक्योर्ड लोन्स के अगेंस्ट एबीएस इशू किए जाते हैं जनरली. ठीक है, तो वहां पर क्या हो रहा है, बैंक आपको प्रॉपर गारंटी दे रहा है एबीएस इन्वेस्टर्स को कि आपको आपकी पेमेंट मिलेगी ही मिलेगी, क्योंकि जो आपको पेमेंट आनी है दैट विल कम फ्रॉम द लोन्स which are our asset, which are there to give us cash flows for the upcoming time. And if even if there is a default, we have a diversified pool. तो सब लोग एक साथ डिफॉल्ट करे ऐसा बहुत ही एक्सेप्शनल सिचुएशन है, जो कि 2008 के क्राइसिस में हुआ भी था. We will talk about 2008 financial crisis and how CDS, ABS both had a role to play there. इतने पुराने हैं, इंडिया में मे भी इतने पुराने नहीं हो, बट यूएस में these instruments CDS, ABS ये 2008 में भी थे. और उस टाइम पे जब क्राइसिस हुआ था तब इन पे भी इम्पैक्ट आया था. कैसे आया था? वी विल डिस्कस द होल केस, बट दैट वील डू इन फिक्स्ड इनकम सिक्योरिटीज. ओके, फॉर नाउ एबीएस है. इन्वेस्टर को क्या चाहिए? रिटर्न, वो उसे मिलेगा. उसे और क्या चाहिए? प्रोटेक्शन, वो भी हम उसे दे रहे हैं कि ये जो भी आपको रिटर्न्स आने हैं ये आने हैं लोन से, और लोन भी बैक्ड अप बाय सम मॉर्गेज है. ठीक है. और बैंक को क्या फायदा हुआ? बैंक को मिल गए फंड्स. ठीक है, जो उसको चाहिए थे. एंड ऑफ कोर्स लेट्स से उसको लोन पे अगर 13% आ रहा है तो वो क्या करेगा? एबीएस पे मे बी 10% दे देगा और 3% का यहाँ पर इनकम भी बना लेगा. तो बैंक अपने फायदे के लिए कर रहे हैं. यहाँ से इनकम भी आ रही है उसके पास और फंड्स भी आ रहे हैं उसके पास. इन्वेस्टर को एक सिक्योर्ड रूट ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट मिल गया, a way to invest in the loans of the bank, right? And against which they are getting some secured interest rate which may be higher than other options, and that's the benefit that these investors are getting. So that is the main structure of asset backed securities. Okay, so you can note down this whole diagram also for your future reference, not to just remember what exactly asset backed securities are, how they are structured. At one end we have the assets of the bank, in the middle we have bank, and on the other hand we have the investors who invest into these ABS. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, who uses the asset like the time it has been mortgaged to the bank? Who's the, like, if I have to taken a loan from the bank and I have mortgaged suppose a real estate property, so can I use that real estate property till the time I default?
Yes, you can use it. The only clause can be there with respect to that property can be that you cannot sell it for this much amount of time. Okay, maybe there is a clause of 1 year कि आप 1 साल में अपनी प्रॉपर्टी सेल नहीं कर सकते, 1 साल तक अपनी प्रॉपर्टी सेल नहीं कर सकते. लोन प्रीपेमेंट का भी उनको रिस्क रहता है कि कई बार क्या होता है, लोन होता है 10 साल का, तो वो 10 साल के लोन के अगेंस्ट अगर आपने आगे 10 साल की एबीएस इशू कर दी, और अगर आपका जो लोन होल्डर है उसने 2 साल बाद आके बोला कि मैं अपना पूरा लोन रीपे करना चाहता हूँ, तो लोन तो उस टाइम पे आ गया आपके पास, प्रिंसिपल तो आ जाएगा, बट जो 8 इयर्स का इंटरेस्ट था बैंक के पास वो नहीं आएगा. एंड उसने आगे एबीएस प्रॉमिस कर दिए है फॉर 10 इयर्स. तो यहाँ पर क्या हो जाता है? मिसमैच हो जाता है. इसीलिए क्या करते हैं, वो क्लॉजेस डालते हैं कि आप अपनी प्रॉपर्टी को सेल नहीं कर सकते, या आप इतने टाइम से पहले प्रीपे कर ही नहीं सकते लोन, और अगर करोगे तो उस पर फिर वो चार्जेस भी लगाते हैं ताकि वो कुछ तो रिकवरी कर सके. बाकी फिर जो उनके पास फंड्स आ जाते हैं उनको वो कहीं और लगा देते हैं, क्योंकि आगे एबीएस को भी तो पेमेंट जानी ही है ना. एंड बैंक के लिए तो फंड्स ही उसका मेन एसेट है. जितना अच्छे से वो उसको यूटिलाइज करेंगे उतना ही वो अपने लिए ज्यादा बना पाएंगे. ठीक है ना?
Okay, ma'am. So can I rent it out and earn some rental income from it?
Yes, I don't think रेंट पे देना प्रॉपर्टी इज अ प्रॉब्लम. यू कैन यूज इट, यू कैन इवन गिव इट ऑन रेंट. सेलिंग पे आई थिंक कुछ क्लॉजेस होते हैं कि आप सेल नहीं कर सकते उसको. उस पे भी देर कैन, एज पर द एग्रीमेंट देर कैन बी कि 1 साल तक नहीं सेल कर सकते, 5 साल तक नहीं सेल कर सकते, मतलब कुछ क्लॉजेस होते हैं विच यू हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so that was briefly about asset backed securities.
Ma'am,
Yes.
once the bank gives the people loans for buying houses, so what is the case for mortgages? How does that fit in here?
So maybe the property loan that they're providing, they're mortgaging the property only. It can be that you are
So
keeping a
mortgage
property.
payments are
हाँ,
okay.
कुछ भी कोलेटरल तो वो आपसे रखेगा ही ना, ऐसे ही आपको वो फंड्स तो नहीं देंगे. ठीक है, कुछ ना कुछ आपका एसेट लगेगा ही लगेगा इन दैट केस इन ऑर्डर टू गेट द लोन.
Okay.
Okay, so these are few examples of derivative contracts, how they can be structured and everything. Abhi, let's move forward. Okay. Now let's conclude this chapter altogether by understanding what can be the benefits and what can be the challenges or negative points about derivatives. Okay, that is, I think, the last point, um, except arbitrage. Okay, so there are 2 points. One is to just talk about the derivatives plus and minus, and the second would be arbitrage concept, post which we'll try to incorporate some questions also, and then we'll move forward with our second chapter. I think at least half of today's class will be dedicated for the second chapter, and tomorrow's class, of course, we have for the second chapter only. Okay, so we'll try to wind this chapter up in, let's say, another half an hour, and after that, whatever time is left, we'll try to dedicate it for our second chapter. Okay, na?
But ma'am, by the way, we have left the put options contingent claims. Like we covered call options.
Put options we haven't.
I suppose.
No, ma'am, we haven't. Last call option
Okay.
we have finished. Put option
Acha,
discussion.
I asked you, you said that I need to start from credit derivatives. That's why I started from it. No problem. I'll talk about put options as well. Don't worry.
Yep.
Okay. So talking about the plus and minus of derivative. Okay. Any contribution from your end? Like what are the plus points of these derivatives contracts? Any plus points that you can
I think plus
observe?
point is risk management, effective risk management.
Right. Absolutely correct.
Hedging against the future expected risk.
Right. So risk management can be done.
Phenomenal rate of return.
Yes, absolutely. Risk management can be done, and not just risk management, getting better returns than just the traditional forms of investments and trading. We can get much better returns. We can manage our risk better, right? And if we have an asset and against which we have a derivatives also, it also helps in preventing arbitrage opportunities, or um, increases market efficiency. Okay, we'll talk about arbitrage more in some time. Okay, अभी थोड़ी देर में बात करेंगे. Here what you can remember is that it helps increase the market efficiency. Okay, so it increases market efficiency, it gives you better returns, it gives you better risk management. There are a lot of plus points to derivatives, but at the same time we have certain challenges or certain negative points also with respect to the derivative contracts. Any negative point you can think
One
about?
negative point is the market can be liquid in terms of the bid ask. So
Market
the
can be
ask, like illiquid, like derivatives can be less liquid in terms of the bid ask price. So the ask price might be higher than what the bid is, and there
okay.
might be a significant difference in that.
There is
Just a
chance
minute. Uh, were you able to find this link on your portal? It was updated, right?
Yes, ma'am, on calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, somebody is asking in the group that when will the meeting start?
Ma'am, today it started at 2:30, yeah, because
Sorry,
I joined.
2:30. We started the meeting at 2:30 only. Yeah, so the timing is 2:30. I think some people
We didn't see it. That's why when I joined kind of little late. I joined at 2:50.
okay. All right. Yeah, so the timing from today, it is going to be 2:30 to 6:30 only. Okay, and I think some people were not aware of it. So that's why. Just a minute. Yes. So we were talking about the minus or the negative points of derivative contracts, right? So what are the negative points of derivative contract? The negative points, yeah, you were saying something, somebody was saying something, I think, and
Yeah, I was telling one negative can be the market, the derivative market can be a little like less liquid in terms of the bid
okay,
ask. So the ask might be significantly higher than the bid in the market, which
okay.
makes it less liquid. That is one drawback.
Actually, I feel that there is I feel a different perspective on liquidity perspective. Why I'm saying that? Because before derivatives, either we could trade upon a particular asset directly, or there was no indirect route to do that. Like for example, if you want to trade on Nifty, there was no way, there was no route which was available through which we could trade on Nifty before derivatives. So what do you think after we have derivatives on Nifty, or for that matter commodities, or for that matter anything? We have derivatives on water also in some countries. Okay, so we can have derivative contract on any asset for that matter, whether that asset has, that asset is a financial asset or a real asset, that is it has a physical use or not. In any of the cases, we are getting an option to trade on any kind of asset, and that too not just go long, be short also. If you wanted to if you want to short Reliance, or if you want to short Nifty for, and you want to carry your position to the next day, there is only one route to do that, that is through futures and options. If you want to do short selling on Reliance, you'll have to square it off on the same day basis, that is it can happen on intraday. I hope you know short selling, that is selling the shares of
Yes, ma'am.
Reliance first and then buying it. You have to square off our position in the same day. So shorting was possible only on intraday basis. Secondly, if there was a route to trade or invest in an asset directly, then we were able to do that. Otherwise, there was no other route, no other way through which we could trade or invest in any particular asset other than if we have that direct route. So by having derivatives, I think the scope has increased, not reduced, because of which the liquidity should improve, not deteriorate. Right? That would be my view
That's a
on the
relevant point.
liquidity. Yeah.
This point actually I read it in the CFA book. That's why I like.
They can have one context in which they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not contradicting it, but this is one perspective, one context in which we are looking at it. I'm sure if it is written somewhere, then there must be some context to it, and if we read the whole context in which they are talking about this point, then we would be in a better position to comment over that viewpoint, right?
Makes sense.
Okay,
The
so
other than that, maybe
yeah,
that there is a chance that trader can lose 100% of the capital.
yes, we talk about risk management. At the very same time, derivatives actually, if you do not understand how derivatives work, how to deal with derivatives, how to manage the risk, then it can actually increase your risk multifold, and you can actually lose your entire capital in the derivative market, right? And people start doing speculations. So basically, when we have a power, we use it, we get benefited, we misuse it, we get negatively impacted by it. It's just like that. Okay, so if this power of derivatives comes with a lot of responsibility to invest time to learn how the market works, to build the knowledge and to build the right skills that we need to deal in the derivative market. Most of the people who come to derivative market, they do not have the background knowledge, experience and skills that is required, right? That's why it turns out to be a misuse. It turns out to be something that deteriorated your capital and everything. ठीक है, because अगर आप power को responsibly नहीं use करोगे तो definitely it will misfire. Gun है, सही तरीके से point नहीं करी तो you can kill yourself also, right? It's just like that. So it comes with a lot of responsibility which people don't assume. That's why it can also turn out to be negative. ठीक है, अभी 2 points रह गए हैं हमारे इस chapter के. We'll complete them and then we'll start with our next chapter. Okay, so what are those 2 points that we are required to cover? First point is with respect to the put option, which you said that I did not cover, the payoff in case of put option, right? That point we'll cover. And the second would be with respect to arbitrage. So let's talk about our put option first. Okay. So what are put options, by the way? क्या होते हैं put option? What are put options?
Options to sell.
Right, but not an obligation to sell a particular derivative of a
Right. Absolutely. So when it comes to put option, here there will be again a long party to the put option, a short party to the put option. So the short party has sold the right to sell an asset. The short party has sold the right to sell an underlying asset at a fixed price. Okay, so the short party has sold the right to sell an asset at a fixed price to the long party. Now, who has this right? This right lies with the long party, right? This right to sell is with the long party. ठीक है, तो long party को beneficial लगेगा तो वो sell करेंगे, नहीं तो नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है, but at the time of expiry, the short party does not have any option. Okay, the short party does not have any option. The long party has an option. The short party will have an obligation to abide by whatever the long party chooses to do. ठीक है, I think I've discussed the put option and the maximum payoff, the loss and everything that can
No,
happen.
that we discussed with respect to call option.
I think I discussed with respect to put also. I in fact wrote down a table also in which I talked about the maximum. Was it with respect to only call option?
Yes,
I wrote
ma'am.
down table.
We drew
Acha.
the diagram with respect to only
Okay.
call. That was the last thing.
Okay. Then I must be mistaken. So we did the diagram and the table, I think maybe with respect to call option. Okay, we'll do it with respect to put option also. Okay. So here the short party of the put option is selling the right to sell an asset to the long party. So the right is with the long party. Now short party is giving a right to the long party. ऐसे free में तो कुछ नहीं आता. So short party will get premium. Okay. So long party is going to give the premium to the short party so that the long party gets the right. ठीक है ना? So long party has the right, short party has the premium. ठीक. Now let's consider the expectation and payoff of the long party and then the short party. So if we talk about it from the perspective of, just a minute. If we talk about it, you can see my whiteboard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So from the long party perspective, what is happening here is, from the long party perspective, आपके पास एक right है, right to sell an asset at a fixed price, which is the exercise price. ठीक है, let's say the exercise price is 100. अभी आपके पास option है to sell at 100. When would you like to sell at 100? When the market price falls below 100. ठीक है ना? If the market price is above 100, would you like to sell at 100?
No.
Yes
No.
or no? No,
No.
right? So if the market price is above 100, as a long party, you have an option and you will not choose that option, right? Now, when will we choose the option? When the prices start to fall. Okay, so this is, let's say 100 की प्राइस है हमारी, 100 से ऊपर प्राइस अगर जाती है तो हम एक्सरसाइज नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि हमें फायदा नहीं है, because we had a right to sell at 100. So if the prices are more than 100, there's no point in selling the asset, right? So we will not sell it, but हम एक cost already bear कर चुके हैं, and that is the premium cost, right? So if we consider this as the zero level of gross profit, then our net profit becomes minus the premium amount. Let's say premium was 20 rupees. ठीक है, तो if the price is more than 100, we will just lose 20 rupees of premium, nothing more than that, right? But when the prices start to rise, starts to fall, we are going to get benefited from it, because we have a right to sell something at 100 whose market price is less than 100. So we will be benefited as long as the prices keep going down and down. ठीक है, तो हमारा पे ऑफ बढ़ेगा जब prices कम हो गए, right? When the prices fall, our premium increases, and maximum अपने को कितना benefit हो सकता है? up till 100. ठीक है, 100 maximum का benefit हो सकता है when the prices fall to 0. इससे नीचे तो नहीं जा सकती. Price was 0, we were into this agreement where we had the right to sell at 100, so we got the maximum profit of 100 minus the 20 rupees premium that we have paid. We get to our net profit. Okay, so net profit will be a little lower in comparison to the gross profit. So this we can say as a gross profit line, and this we can say as the net profit line, and the difference between the two is because of the premium that we have paid. Okay, so the maximum loss that can happen to us would be the loss of premium. The maximum gain that can happen to us would be the stock price minus the premium, right? That can happen when the market price of that stock goes to 0. ठीक है कि नहीं?
Ma'am, can you label the x-axis and y-axis?
With respect to x-axis and y-axis, here we can talk about our gains. These are our gains, and these are the stock prices. Okay, stock prices and gains. Okay, And
Yes.
an opposite thing will happen from the perspective of the short party, right? From the perspective of the short party, what would happen? We don't have a right, we have an obligation to sell when the long party chooses to sell. ठीक है? And the long party will choose to sell only when the prices go down. तो हम क्या होप कर रहे हैं कि प्राइसेस डाउन नहीं जाएंगे. प्राइसेस अगर अप जाते हैं एज अ शॉर्ट पार्टी, हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या है? प्राइसेस वुड गो अप, एंड इफ द प्राइसेस गो अप, दिस ऑप्शन will not be exercised, and we will make money in terms of the premium that we got. Okay, so let me prepare the diagram with respect to the short party to a put option as well. So as a short party, what you are hoping for is prices to go up when you will be able to capture the premium amount. Okay, so what you will get is, the prices ऊपर जाती है, आपका gross profit zero होगा, plus the premium that you get will lead to your overall profit, which would be the premium amount. ठीक है? And as the prices start to go down below X, your payoff starts to fall. जितना भी लॉस होगा उसमें बस प्रीमियम आपका ऐड हो जाएगा in order to reach to your total profitability. ठीक है, मान लो 100 का आपको लॉस हो गया, मैक्सिमम लॉस कितना हो सकता है? आपको 100 का हो सकता है, बट 20 रुपीज प्रीमियम आपको मिल चुका था, तो आपको नेट बेसिस पे 80 रुपीज का ही लॉस हुआ. ठीक है, सो अगेन it is just like a mirror image of what happened for the long party. So this is your premium, this is your the difference between the two lines is of premium. This is your net profit, this is your gross profit. Of course, in this case, the maximum profit can be of the premium, and the maximum loss can be of the exercise price minus the premium. ठीक है? This is again gains and stock prices. ठीक है? I'll just summarize it in the form of table also.
Ma'am, for the long party, the profits can be unlimited, right?
No, no.
Minus the premium
For a-
paid.
For the put party, the long put party will gain only when the prices fall, and the maximum the prices can fall
Is 100,
is to 0.
right?
Right? So there is an upside limit. Call option long party में क्या था कि अपसाइड पोटेंशियल हमारा अनलिमिटेड था. राइट? क्यों? क्योंकि उस टाइम पे आपको गेन हो रहा था अगर प्राइसेस आपके बढ़ जाते तो, और प्राइसेस आपके कितने भी बढ़ सकते हैं, वहां कुछ लिमिट नहीं है, बट अगर प्राइसेस फॉल कर रहे हैं तो मैक्सिमम वो 0 तक फॉल कर सकते हैं. ठीक है ना? So that's why there was no limit in case of a long call party, but there is a limit to the long put party. ठीक है? I'll just summarize it in the form of table. I hope you've written down whatever is there on the screen right now. Now, just summarizing it up, for a long put party, you have an option to exercise. ठीक है? अगर आपके पे ऑफ की बात अगर आपके पे ऑफ की अगर हम बात करें, देखो दो चीजें, पे ऑफ मतलब गेन. ठीक है? गेन मतलब आपका नेट प्रॉफिट कितना हो रहा है डील से. ठीक है? दैट विल इंक्लूड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ प्रीमियम. ठीक है? एक है पे ऑफ के टर्म्स में बात करना, यानी गेन के टर्म्स में बात करना, एक है वैल्यू के टर्म्स में बात करना. ठीक है? वैल्यू के टर्म्स में बात करेंगे तो वो एक्सक्लूडिंग द प्रीमियम होगी. गेन और पे ऑफ के टर्म्स में बात करेंगे तो वो इंक्लूडिंग द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ प्रीमियम होगी. सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट पे ऑफ और गेन, फॉर अ लॉन्ग पुट पार्टी, the maximum loss that can be there would be the premium amount. Okay, सिर्फ आपका प्रीमियम जीरो आउट हो सकता है, खत्म हो सकता है, ठीक है ना. अब इसका प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशन कैसे पड़ता है वो भी अगर टाइम मिलता है अपने को, पहले हम अपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स कंप्लीट करना चाहेंगे, बिकॉज everything comes with a proper scheduling, and in order to respect the schedule, first target would be to talk about the concepts and everything, and in case we are left with any extra time, then I would love to talk about the trading impact from the option buyer versus option seller perspective, कि practically चीजें कैसे काम करती है. ठीक है, टाइम मिलेगा तो डिस्कस करेंगे वो. ठीक है, पहली प्रायोरिटी है जो आपका करिकुलम है वो कंप्लीट हो जाए. सो पे ऑफ गेन, मैक्सिमम लॉस दैट कैन हैपन इज ऑफ योर प्रीमियम. ठीक है, एंड द मैक्सिमम गेन दैट कैन हैपन इज योर what your exercise price minus the stock price, and the stock price becomes zero. That is the maximum limit that you can have. ठीक है, minus the premium that you have already paid. ठीक है, so x minus s, that is exercise price minus the stock price, gives us our gain, minus whatever premium we have will give us our net gain. ठीक है, okay. So value की जब भी हम बात करते हैं, we exclude this premium aspect and we just talk about what is the value that an option buyer, here we are the option buyer. ठीक है, as a long put we are option buyer. ठीक है, option buyer, and the option किसकी थी, put option थी, तो we are a put option buyer. ठीक है, so value एक पुट ऑप्शन बायर को कब मिलेगी, जब प्राइसेस जाएगी डाउन. ऊपर जाएगी तो अपने को कोई वैल्यू नहीं क्रिएट होगी, हम we will let the option lapse because there is no value to us. So the value that we are going to get would be maximum of 0 or x minus s. ठीक है, 0 कब होगा, जब स्टॉक प्राइस ऊपर जाएगा. जब स्टॉक प्राइस नीचे जाएगा तो कितना वैल्यू हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, x minus the stock price. Let's say x was 100, stock price is 30, तो 70 rupees का अपना वैल्यू क्रिएशन हो गया. Minus the premium will give us a net payoff or gain. ठीक है, so I hope you understand this concept. ठीक है, let's consider from the perspective of the short put party also. ठीक है, that is the option seller. So yeah, so let's say we are talking from the perspective of the short put party or the put option seller. ठीक है, so as a put option seller, आप क्या चाहोगे, आप चाहोगे कि प्राइसेस गिरे नहीं, जितने प्राइसेस बढ़ेंगे आपको उतना बेनिफिट होता है. ठीक है, क्योंकि प्राइसेस बढ़ेंगे तो कॉन्सेप्चुअली स्पीकिंग ऑप्शन बायर अपनी ऑप्शन को एक्सरसाइज नहीं करेगा एंड यू विल एंजॉय योर प्रीमियम. ठीक है ना, तो आपको आपका वैल्यू क्रिएशन कब होगा, what is the value that you can get as a short put party? Any
What
inputs?
exercise?
Spot minus exercise. Okay, well हमारे पास तो ऑप्शन है ही नहीं ना. अगर स्पॉट माइनस एक्सरसाइज की हम बात करें तो स्पॉट इज द करंट स्टॉक प्राइस माइनस द एक्सरसाइज प्राइस. अगर प्राइसेस बढ़ते हैं, स्टॉक प्राइस ज्यादा होता है, तो दूसरी पार्टी एक्सरसाइज करेगी ही नहीं, तो अपने को बेनिफिट कैसे मिलेगा. अपने को तो बेनिफिट तब मिलेगा ना जब दूसरी पार्टी एक्सरसाइज ना करे, ठीक है, हमें उतना बेनिफिट नहीं मिल सकता जितना द स्पॉट प्राइस माइनस एक्स होगा। हमें तो बेनिफिट मैक्सिमम प्रीमियम में मिल सकता है क्योंकि दूसरी पार्टी एक्सरसाइज करेगी नहीं, तो हमें कुछ उसका बेनिफिट तो मिलेगा नहीं। बस हमारे को ये बेनिफिट है कि दूसरी पार्टी ने एक्सरसाइज नहीं किया, हमें प्रीमियम मिल गया, तो हम प्रीमियम से खुश हैं।
एक्सरसाइज माइनस स्पॉट।
या वी विल हैव टू सफर लॉस, ठीक है ना। अगर वो पार्टी चूज करती है टू एक्सरसाइज द ऑप्शन तो अपने को लॉस होगा। कितना लॉस हो सकता है अपने को? मैक्सिमम इसको आप वैल्यू पर्सपेक्टिव से नहीं, मैक्सिमम लॉस मैक्सिमम गेन पर्सपेक्टिव से देखोगे तो बेटर आप अंडरस्टैंड करोगे। मैक्सिमम लॉस व्हिच कैन हैपन टू अ शॉर्ट पुट पार्टी वुड बी द मैक्सिमम गेन दैट कैन हैपन टू द लॉन्ग पार्टी। लॉन्ग पार्टी को मैक्सिमम गेन कितना हो सकता है? उसको मैक्सिमम गेन हो सकता है एक्स माइनस एस, तो अपने को भी उतना मैक्सिमम लॉस हो सकता है, ठीक है। एंड अपने का हमारा मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट क्या हो सकता है, मैक्सिमम गेन क्या हो सकता है? हमारा मैक्सिमम गेन हो सकता है प्रीमियम। दैट्स इट। we'll either have premium or we'll suffer the loss of x minus s. That's it. यही कुछ
नेट
चीजें हो सकती है।
नेट टर्म के हिसाब से, नेट लॉस के हिसाब से देखेंगे तो लाइक मैक्स लॉस विल बी एक्स माइनस एस प्लस प्रीमियम ना।
Yes, yes, yes.
X,
Yes.
because x minus s is just
Hmm.
the gross loss that you're talking about.
Yes, 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 absolutely. So if we talk about net profit that we can have, net profit can either be premium if it is favorable for us and the other party does not exercise the option, or it can be x minus s. This is the loss that we have, right, minus the premium that we gain from it. So this is the two possibilities of net profit that we can have. ठीक है?
Ma'am, would it be plus the premium for the short party, x minus s plus the premium for his net loss?
This is the net loss, right?
So it
Which
should
you
be
can,
x minus s plus the premium, right? Whatever x minus s the value you get.
if you are taking it as a net loss, then it would be x minus s minus premium. Like your net loss was coming out to be 100 and you could recover 20, so not net loss becomes 100 minus 20, that is 80. So your net loss can be this, or if you talk in terms of net profit, तो आप फिर उसको ऐसे कर सकते हो कि इसको माइनस कर दिया, इसको प्लस कर दिया, ठीक है। तो कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है तो कोई बात नहीं, लेट्स रिमूव दिस थिंग। ठीक है, and let's call it net profit only. And as far as our net profit is concerned, we will be making either the premium or the loss is going to be minus of whatever is the difference between the exercise price and the stock price plus the premium. ठीक है, so that's the concept of put option, right? Next, I have to talk about a concept on in the money, out of the money, at the money, that I'm thinking of talking about when we'll do valuations of options. Okay, so when we'll pick up valuation of options, I'll talk about this thing. For now, to complete our first chapter, let me just talk about our final small concept of the first chapter that we have, and that is of arbitrage. Okay, with which we will be able to cover our first chapter. I was targeting till 3:30, but I think by 4-ish we will be able to complete it, and around 4-ish we will start with our next chapter. ठीक है ना? So talking about arbitrage, any idea, anybody, what exactly is arbitrage? What is arbitrage?
Yes, ma'am.
What is?
Arbitrage means buying a stock on one exchange at a lower price and selling it on another exchange at higher price.
Yes, absolutely correct. So arbitrage, we can say, is a situation in which what we do is we believe in a concept of law of one price. That means what we are trying to say here is that if we are talking about one asset, that asset should have the same price in all the markets. Like if we talk about oranges, whether you purchase it from a wholesale market or whether you purchase it from a vendor near your house or any other market for that matter, they should have one price. But do we have one price for everything everywhere?
No.
No.
No, right? There are different prices for different things everywhere we go, which actually gives us the arbitrage opportunity, and where what we intend to do is we intend to buy from the market where we are getting cheaper option and sell it in a market where we have expensive option. Okay, let's say for example we identify two markets, market A and market B. In A market, what we discovered was that the oranges were being sold at 100 rupees, and in B market, the same oranges were being sold at 150. Now, what we thought, that okay, let's buy in this market and sell in this market. So when we buy at 100, sell at 150, we will be able to make 50 rupees. This is our arbitrage profit. Okay. This would be our arbitrage profit that we have made out of this deal. We call it riskless profit also. Why? Because we did nothing here, right? There was no risk involved. We just purchased from one market and sold it another market. Now, ab hota kya hai? When we have this flexibility of buying from one market and selling into another market, there in this market, if we talk about, the prices were low, maybe because there was less demand in comparison to this market. So when a lot of arbitrage come into the market, they are able to identify this price difference, right, and they try to exploit it. अब क्या होता है, बहुत सारे players जब ये सेम काम करेंगे तो यहाँ पर क्या होगा, यहाँ पर the demand will go up and यहाँ पर the supply would go up. और होगा क्या, जब डिमांड बढ़नी शुरू हो जाएगी यहाँ पर तो प्राइसेस बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे. जब सप्लाई यहाँ पर बढ़नी शुरू हो जाएगी तो डिमांड तो नहीं बढ़ी, सप्लाई बढ़ गई, तो क्या इम्पैक्ट आएगा प्राइसेस पे?
It'll fall. Prices.
Yes, the prices will start to fall. So in one market the prices will start to rise, in one market the prices will start to fall, and eventually there will be a situation where no more arbitrage profit opportunity is left, or the price differential will become very very less. Okay. Another example, this was in terms of oranges. Okay. If you talk about it from the financial markets perspective, एग्जाम्पल हो सकता है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू NSE वर्सेस BSE which are our main stock exchanges. Now if we have Reliance or any other stock which is listed on both NSE and BSE, and if let's say it is available in NSE at 1500 and it is selling at 2000 in BSE, तो क्या होगा? People would start buying here, selling here. So यहाँ क्या होगा? Demand would go up, prices will go up. यहाँ क्या होगा? Supply would go up, sellers हो जाएंगे यहाँ पर, prices would come down. That's why क्या होता है कि जब भी आप प्राइस देखते हो NSE और BSE पे, दोनों पे जब आप चेक करते हो, तो क्या होता है कि प्राइसेस जनरली आपको बहुत सिमिलर दिखेंगे, ज्यादा डिफरेंस उनमें हो ही नहीं सकता, बिकॉज अगर थोड़ा बहुत भी डिफरेंस आता है, arbitrages will enter the market and जो भी मिसबैलेंस हो रहा था डिमांड सप्लाई में, because of which price differential था, that would be eliminated within seconds. इसीलिए कभी आपको ज्यादा डिफरेंस NSE BSE के स्टॉक प्राइसेस में दिखेगा ही नहीं, ठीक है? सो आर्बिट्राज actually helps increase the market efficiency, ठीक है? It helps increase market efficiency. It helps in this sustenance of this law also, that is law of one price, that is anything which is available in different markets should be priced in a similar manner. Okay.
And just a
Yes.
doubt, isn't the idea for efficient markets like not to have arbitrage at all?
So when the
So-
markets will become efficient, arbitrage opportunity would be eliminated. But
हाँ,
पहले तो arbitrage हुआ था ना, तभी तो
हाँ,
वो एफिशिएंसी लेवल पे आए, और एफिशिएंसी लेवल के आने के बाद अब कोई आर्बिट्राज नहीं हो पा रहा. ठीक है, दैट इज वन पॉइंट. ठीक है, एंड लेट्स कंसिडर वन मोर एग्जांपल. ठीक है, एंड दैट इज with respect to financial markets again. So let me take you to your PDF to discuss this last example of this chapter. ठीक है, ये डिस्कस करते ही चैप्टर खत्म हो जाएगा. ओके, सो लेट्स गो थ्रू दिस एग्जांपल. अभी यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? What we are doing here is, just a minute, let me open it in another format so that I can write on it as well. Yeah, so this example, so what is the situation here? The situation is that we have two stocks, I think, AXY and PYF, जिनकी अभी current price is $50 and $38 each. Now there is a possibility that the prices will go up or they will go down. If the prices go up, we are expecting the prices to be, for AXE, we are expecting it to be 75. For BFY, we are expecting it to be 60. ठीक है? If the prices go down, we are expecting for AXE to be 40, BYF to be 32. ठीक है, तो अभी हम क्या करने वाले हैं? We are going to conduct an arbitrage. We are going to conduct an arbitrage strategy here. Now what we are planning to do is, we'll sell short 100 shares of AEX for 5,000. हमने क्या किया? AEX के शेयर्स को शॉर्ट कर दिया. जब हम शॉर्ट कर दिया तो मतलब we have sold the shares. तो हम सेल करेंगे तो हमारे पास इनफ्लो आया 5,000 का. in our account. ठीक है, अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं, what we are planning to do is 5000 को utilize करेंगे to purchase maximum BYF shares. ठीक है, 50 रुपीज $50 की इसकी प्राइस थी, तो 50 into 100 gave us an inflow of 5000 from short selling AXE. ठीक है, now we'll utilize these $5000 to buy 125 shares of BYF for 4750. How are we getting this 4750? If you divide 4750 by 125, what do you get?
$38.
38. Yeah, okay, 38. So at the current price, we first short sold AXE, we got 5000. We utilized it to purchase 125 shares at the rate of 38, and there was an outflow of 4750. ठीक है, अपने पास कितना बच गया? 5000 we got, we utilized 4750, we are left with $250. Now what we are planning to do, we are planning to invest this $250 at the risk-free bond at 4%. ठीक है, तो we'll make 4% on $250. ठीक है, we've short sold AXE and we have bought BYF. अभी अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट कुछ नहीं लगी है. ठीक है, अभी let's consider the two possibilities, that is the prices can either go up or the prices can either go down. In both the situation, what is our outcome? Let's see. So if the prices go up, ठीक है, तो हमने क्या किया था, हमने शॉर्ट सेल किया था, right? Now the prices are $75 for AXE and for BYF the prices are 60 now. ठीक है, तो अभी अपने को क्या करना पड़ेगा, अपनी शॉर्ट पोजीशन को कवर करना पड़ेगा. तो अगर हमने पहले सेल किए थे A, let me call it A and B for simplicity. ठीक है, तो हमने पहले सेल किए थे एक कंपनी के शेयर्स, अभी अपने को क्या करने पड़ेंगे, अपनी पोजीशन को स्क्वायर ऑफ करने के लिए बाय करने पड़ेंगे. प्राइसेस क्योंकि बढ़ चुकी है, तो अपने को बाय कितने पे करना पड़ेगा, 75 पे करना पड़ेगा, जो न्यू प्राइस है उस पे करना पड़ेगा. तो हमने क्या किया, बाय करा 75 into 100. ठीक है, 75 ये हटा दो, तो 75 प्राइस है इंटू 100 शेयर. तो हमने क्या किया है, हमने कवर किया है अपनी पोजीशन को 7500 पे. अभी बी कंपनी में क्या हुआ, हमने खरीदे थे शेयर्स. हाउ मेनी शेयर्स वी परचेज 125 शेयर्स, राइट? अभी 125 shares we had purchased at 38 rupees, $38. Now that price is up to 60. तो अभी जब हम सेल करेंगे, बी कंपनी के शेयर्स हम सेल कर देंगे, ए कंपनी के शेयर्स हम बाय कर लेंगे और बी कंपनी के शेयर्स हम सेल कर देंगे. तो नाउ वी विल बी एबल टू सेल 125 shares at the rate of 60. How much do we get? 125 into 60?
75.
7500. So we got 7500 from B company's sale, which we will be utilizing to buy back A company's shares in order to square off our short position that we had created on it. Net हो गया 0. ठीक है, तो जो 7500 का इनफ्लो आया बी की सेल से, वही हमने यूज कर दिया ए को बाय करने के लिए, एंड नेट बेसिस पे अपने पास इनसे तो कुछ नहीं बचा, लेकिन we had invested $250 at 4% rate. So if we compound $250 with 1 plus 4%, we will be getting $260. ठीक है, तो हमने जो $250 इन्वेस्ट किए थे वो बन गए 260 और ये 250 भी हमने अपनी जेब से लगाए नहीं थे. It was because of this position that we had created between A and B stock. So net basis पे हमने $260 बना लिए. Out of it 250 we made at the first stage and $10 interest we made in the second stage. So net basis पे हमने $260 बना लिए without shedding a penny from our capital. हमने कुछ capital नहीं लगाया and still we made $260 and that too in a riskless manner. This is an example of arbitrage. Now the other possibility was that the prices may go down. Now let's see what will happen if the prices go down. If the prices start to go down, A company share will be now 40 and B company share will be now 32. अभी हमने क्या किया था, A को सेल करा था किस प्राइस पे, हमने A को सेल किया था 50 पे, राइट, जो उसकी इनिशियल प्राइस थी दैट वाज 50. तो हमने A को सेल किया था 50 पे. नाउ वी हैव टू बाय इट, वी विल बी बाइंग इट एट द न्यू प्राइस which is 40, right? So we need to buy 100 shares of A at 40. That means we need $4,000 for that. हम क्या करेंगे, B कंपनी के शेयर्स को बेचेंगे जो हमने खरीदे थे. We had 125 shares जिनकी अभी प्राइस चल रही है 32, हमने 38 पे परचेज किए थे. Now the price is 32. ठीक है, तो we have 125 shares of B company जिसको हमने सेल करना है at the new price which is 32. So what do you get by multiplying 125 into 32? 125 into 32 would be how much? Please calculate. 4,000. So 125 into 32 is 4,000. So we'll get 4,000 by selling B company stock, which we had purchased earlier. We'll utilize this 4,000 to buy a company जिसके हमने पहले शॉर्ट सेल करे थे. अभी उस शॉर्ट कवरिंग को हमने कवर किया है because of which we needed 4,000. ये 4,000 आपस में nullify हो गए. What we are left with? Again, we are left with $260. That is $250 that we made in stage 1, and then in stage 2 we made some interest on the risk-free interest on it. So net basis पे चाहे prices ऊपर गया या नीचे गया, we were able to make profit. This is an example of creating arbitrage profit from the market. ठीक है, there can be a number of strategies that can be developed in order to make riskless profits from the markets. ठीक है, this is just one example to show how things can work around. So we talked about one example in terms of oranges, then we took another example in terms of NSE BSE. Now this is the third example we took in terms of short selling a stock versus purchasing a stock. ठीक है, so that's about the concept of arbitrage. Now what is left? I think nothing is left. We are through with this chapter now, and we can start with our next chapter,